the Masters kind of had a bit of a tough week, I would say. He was flying high at the top
He
of
is
the
no
field.
longer the master
He
of
was on
lift.
lemon, he was riding, and then he fell off a fucking cliff, and now he finds himself in the Hugh Edwards tier. Precious. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Gollum's Gamers podcast. So today we are doing another event preview episode. It's for the upcoming GBHL 100 event at 750 points. It's called the Wolf's Lair. So it's a very, big event that's going on. We are all going, along with Josh, who is joining us today as our guest, who is the TO for the event. So first of all, Josh, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on. So to start with, did you want to kind of give our listeners a bit of an overview of the event, sort of, the makeup of it and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, so myself and James Palmer are sort of new TOs. We've been going a year now. I'm hosting our first GBHL 100. It's a fairly vanilla pack, 750 points. No real list restrictions other than no Tom Bombadil, I think, was the big one, just because that's what the local scene are used to. 6 games, 2 days. We've still got a few tickets if anyone is interested in listening down in Suffolk, so nice. Go for that one. Got quite some big names coming. I was quite pleased and apprehensive at the same time, if you know what I mean, as a TO with the rules questions. I have had one person, Elliot, email in a rather difficult one. So I'm still trying to figure that one out while simultaneously burning my fingers building the last bit of terrain.
Yeah. So, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Should I jump into lists and stuff, or?
We can jump into our list. Sam, Josh is referring to the Brogear Tremor question. The FAQ. Yeah. So I asked Josh
that again.
Yeah. So Josh is going to ask the TO group and see what the thoughts are. Because
there's a TO group.
Yeah, there's like a TO chat or something.
Vinny, I think it's pretty much the only group we're not in.
I feel left out.
Adam and Vince are in every
group. You have to host an event, Vinny.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm going to host an event next year. The Gollum's Gamers first event. 4 games, 800 points, 1 day.
It's going to be nervous.
And
that's
all
nervous.
Go because you are SVG nerds like me.
4 games, 800 points, no lunch.
Come on. That is so good. Who needs lunch?
6 games, 1 day.
You realise that your day would be so long doing that.
It'd be fucking great.
Be dead.
No, be classed.
It would be so good. Right, but without further ado, we are going to get into our lists. So we have the list here. Cool. So we are going to be starting with my list today, as mine is quite boring. And we've been over it before, so we don't maybe need to spend too long, but I am taking the Dragon Emperor following the recent FAQ. Emperor looks like it could be on the rise, and I played Emperor a fair bit before, and I haven't played it in a little while, maybe like 4 or 5 events, so I'm going to bring it out again. So it's obviously led by the Dragon Emperor. I've got 14 black dragons with pike and shield, another black dragon with bow, and then 3 cataphracts, all with axes, and one of them has a drum. They're black dragon cataphracts. Then we have Ratabi leading 5 Easterlings with shield and axes, another Eastling with bow, and then 4 with pike and shield. And then we have Brogear leading another 6 with shield and axes, 1 with the bow, and 5 with pike and shield. So it's 43 models. I really wanted to try and get it to 44 to up my breakpoint, but I just couldn't do it. It's my first time running axes, so that's quite a lot of points. I mean, I've ran them on the cav before, but never on my whole front line, so it's quite a lot more points. And I don't really know where I can pull more points from to get another model. So 43 models, the 3 kind of named heroes. It's pretty good at 750 because you get pretty full war bands, the 3 heroes. So it's a pretty good list at 750, I think. Have I used it? I used it at 765 at City of Kings, but as a little bit of a different event because the scenarios were known and all that sort of thing. But it's pretty box standard Emperor, I'd say. What do we think?
You could have dropped some axes to get an extra model.
I could have dropped some axes. That would be the way to do it. But I'd have to drop.
There's a lot of points in weapon swaps, isn't it?
It does make it a lot more killy, though.
Yeah.
I think it's a good move.
Would you think going acolytes and a weapon swap on them instead? Because then you get the weapon swap on a 2-attack model.
So, yeah, so you totally can do that. You can do like a few here and there, or you go like a lot of acolytes. But then you're really reducing the model count. Where I've gone kind of max models with the axes. Like against D6, you can struggle to kill. Yes, you win fights with the pipe block, but if you're just winning on 6s everywhere, you can struggle to kill against some armies. So the axes can really help with that.
I do like the 3 bows because usually you don't see bows. But I think it's worth having a few, isn't it?
You need something to set on objective. That 1 black dragon, courage 5 when broken. That's game.
Yeah, I think it's worth having a few. I think 3 is fine.
Yeah, but no, this is the first event I've ran the axes at, and I think the last event I took it to, there were those few games where I struggled to kill, and I was like, I wish I had axes. Because you've got 4 dice to win the fight essentially if you've got your pipe block plus the banner, and at higher fight, the maths say you win like 80% of fights or something. So
yeah, they're the only troop where I think having the weapon swaps worth it. Other than that, it's just other than these things, I don't know if it's worth it for the extra point.
Yeah, and the
Like
cap.
Reavers.
Yeah, anything that's like super low defense, I guess, or lots of 2 attacks, as you said.
Yeah. So like 43 is still good. But yeah, it's fairly standard Emperor. I mean, everyone kind of knows what it does. Any closing thoughts or anything? It's just Emperor.
It's pretty good, realistically. I think with the changes for the FAQs, I mean, it's hard to tell currently. With bear in mind, there's not been an event since.
That's why I thought I'd bring it and just see how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it isn't like Emperor objectively got better. It's just that I guess everything else around it got worse. But
well, Assault on Helm's Deep was probably the strongest direct counter to the Dragon Emperor, wasn't it? And that's been weakened.
Yeah.
So I think it's a safe assumption it will be stronger.
Yeah. And the rest of the field got weaker. So like, I guess it just puts it in a slightly better position. But
yeah, it's pretty standard, but it's overall just solid, isn't it? It's just good.
Yes. It's pretty lemon. Okay, so moving on. Next up, we have Vince's
it's me already.
controversial Isengard list. Now, for the viewers, this list has caused quite some commotion within the Gollum's gamers for a number of weeks, it feels like at this point, and I'm not entirely sure why, but we are here anyway. Vince, take us away.
Yeah, so okay, I'll run through it first and then I'll explain my thinking behind it. So got Frida Tallspear as the leader. I don't think anyone's ever taken her as a leader in a GBHL 100. So that's quite fun. So she's leading 4 crossbows, 4 pike, 2 shield, 1 banner pike, 1 Crabane, and then in Warband 2 we've got Gorolf with 5 crossbow, 5 pike, 1 Warg Rider, a Crabane, and then we've got Rascu with 5 crossbow, 6 pike, 1 shield, and 2 ballistas. So my thinking was that's the home seat, but better. What do you think about that, Sam?
Oh God.
Why is it better?
Strap in, Adam.
It covers the weaknesses of Assault and Helm's Deep. The main one is the movement, right? So those scenarios where you need to get to like back objective or go retrieve something. Got the Crabane there to do that for you. Got the Warg Rider. And it provides the same psychological threat as Assault. You've still got the ballistics, you've still got all the crossbows. It plays the same way, but then you've got those extra tools to help you in situations where maybe Assault can't really get out. That was my thinking.
Does Assault at 750 get 3 ballistas on a bottom?
Yes.
With the same
I think similar. Yeah, similar.
You'd be pushing it to get a bomb and 3. You'd probably get... You'd get 3 ballistas guaranteed.
No, you get 3 ballistas definitely and a bomb.
You get 2
and
and
it's
a
similar
bomb.
models, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you still only have the 2 heroes. So the other thing about this list is the heroes are way better. Got more
Did you not
might.
have 3 captains.
No,
2.
2. So it's still 2. And this list obviously has got way more might, and then it's got heroes that actually do more. Obviously, we know Gollum, he's got 3 attacks, 5, strength 5, so he can munch troops, and he's got strikes, got the 3 defense. Frida's got defense. Vrasku is also pretty good in combat. He's got march, he's got
One thing I would
accuracy.
probably say about the defense, I do sort of understand why you've put Frida as the leader. In most situations where she's going to end up being killed, the defense won't save her. Like, if, let's say Witch King's Sully, for example, like compels her and, you know, someone strikes, I don't even know what high value Frida is, but like Sully strikes up and kills her, the defense isn't going to save her at 2 moons on fate anyway.
She's probably behind the lines, though.
Yeah, she's exactly. She's going to be behind the lines. She's got a spear, so she can still contribute whilst being kind of behind the lines.
Yeah.
And also she's got the anti-cav rule, which is actually really useful. So she is actually pretty hard to kill if you combine the shield, the anti-cav rule, and defense. You can't actually take her out like straight away.
Is that whenever she's charged by a cavalry?
Yep, whenever she is charged or a combat she's supporting is charged.
Yeah.
Without meaning to bring up old topics, I kind of feel like to protect her, you almost need to use her as if you were using someone like Dalamir. Except you don't get the really useful smoke bombs, obviously.
They are so useful, as we found out last time.
I think it's a good list. I think you've maxed out the warbands. You've taken 14 bows plus Frasku, and you've written 17. So I'm guessing you counting.
Yeah, why have you written 17? Is that?
I'm guessing it didn't think Vasco had 2.
No, the ballistas. You've got 15 plus.
The ballistas are big bows. Yeah.
They're
so
insane bows. They definitely count.
All right, you counted them. Okay.
I'm not sure they count towards bow limit, but
so it's 14.
I did think of the limit. I meant like the threat, but yeah.
Yeah, it's 14 plus Rasku's got 2 shots hitting on 3, which is a lot, even without counting the ballistas. So,
like, how would you force a mistake from your opponent, though? That's the thing that I'm looking at this going, like, how are you going? Like, I know that the ballistas will hurt, obviously, and the psychological effect might, a rookie might make a mistake, but like, how do you force a problem is what I'm thinking.
Well, I'm forcing him to come to me. That's kind of the basic, isn't it?
If the scenario allows you to do that.
Yeah, obviously. But it plays the same way as Assault. Well, why is Assault so successful? You're always out shooting them. They're always coming to you. And then when they get to you, you're a fight 4, strength 4 battle line.
Yeah.
I think a fair amount of it was that the ballistas were more reliable than they now potentially are. Obviously, we haven't seen it, play out yet. But I guess the
fine.
Barrage plus the threat of a bomb at some points levels, but like obviously Assault was still really good with like 3 ballistas and no bomb. So the bomb isn't maybe the hero, the be all and end all, but
like the ballistas are still good without the rerolls. Like they're ridiculous in the Legion, but obviously you don't get that for free. You don't have access to, what you get in this list. You don't have access to the fast pieces. So you are actually paying for that by not having access to the other stuff you can get in Isengard.
Yeah.
And the ballistas are still really good, like 65 points.
I mean, it's whether, I guess we'll see after this weekend, and obviously it wasn't like the biggest nerf in the world, but who knows how it's,
I reckon it was big enough.
Yeah. Is there any other Assault and Helmstick going? Like, so this isn't obviously Assault, but is there another?
I think there was. Yeah, don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure I saw one or two assaults. Actual assaults.
That's going to be the tester. Compare whoever brought Assault. Compare that position and Vince's position at the end of the weekend.
Ignore player skill completely.
Yeah,
because I still think you're going to have the exact same problems Assault do. Even with your
Why
Crebain.
though?
Your Crebain and your War Rider, you think you're going to, like, with Destroy Supplies or these ones where you have Retrieval, they're still going to be just as hard even with those three fast-moving models.
But why is it going to be hard? I've got it plays the same way. Like I'll shoot them, they come to me, and then I've still got the threat of Crebain flying over and doing their thing. You know.
I think it's a case of, like, I can imagine quite a few people taking Magic. I don't know how many Witch Kings are at this event, but I reckon.
Yeah, what's Magic going to do though against this list?
Compel Crebain.
Yeah, like if you think, or if you're playing Retrieval, your Crebain just gets compelled and then it dies, and then they don't care about it. They don't care about the rest of, your threat that you've brought. Why you've taken this instead of the Legion? They've just killed your whole reasoning for this.
So we think the Legion's better because of the rerolls.
So
like, do we think the rerolls are better than what this brings?
So before the nerfs, when you could reroll everything, would you say your version here, is better than that?
I think it's closer, but with the nerf, now there's an argument that this is better.
So you would have thought.
I mean, there's no point talking about before the nerf. The nerf has happened, so we've got this now. So
I just think the bomb, like, the bomb is not great against Magic, but you can come up against something that is, I don't know, an Emperor, and the bomb is just so good.
Oh, we're saying this is
like currently
the
bomb's not being changed, so you're essentially swapping.
And then the bomb can also roll one wound, or you berserk and die, and then you just Fairy Courage test.
I think another big part of the bomb as well, though, is that just like the ballistas, where it's like the psychological threat, if there's that bomb there, it's such a big thing that you have to play around.
Like your ballistas in this list,
I agree with that.
Your ballistas need to do work. They hit on 4s. They don't re-roll.
No, they will do work even if they don't hit, because
they're
gonna have to change their battle line completely.
But you'll do that regardless. It's like,
well, no, they'll come at me in single file, conga line instead of.
Is that true? Like, don't you just put 3 inches out from what's important?
Yeah, you can have 4 scatter targets, and then have the rest of your line normal. And then unless you kill with your 16 shots crossbow wise, unless you kill all 4 scatter targets, you're still going to have it scattered. So they can kind of play the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's whether people do change, because obviously the nerf has gone through. It's like, are people going to change the way they play as much as they did before? Like, they might feel more comfortable with there not being the rerolls now. They might like their chances of marching forward and, with just hitting on 4s without the rerolls.
I don't know.
I think you hit 58.8% of the time now per ballista.
Yeah, and I'm hitting 50%. So it's like a small difference.
But it's for 2 ballistas. I just think I would just prefer a bomb over what you've got.
Bomb's 80 points.
Yeah, I did like. Assault on Helm's Deep is still going to be really good, and
oh no, for sure. But I think this brings other stuff too. But it's similar.
I think Frida being the leader is a bit tough, to be honest.
I think Frida is. I would be surprised if Frida makes it through most games.
Yeah. She is totally dying.
Frida's amazing.
Magic.
Yeah, I don't think the defense and the cav charge. She needs 3 6s to die. Yes, the cav charge will stop Suladan or whoever knocking her down, but you can just trap her and then it's the same thing.
No, but she's supporting though. She's not on the front line.
Yeah, but obviously that's at the start of the game when things are all neat and tidy. I think it's going to be hard to keep her at 2 wounds 1 fate safe.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but there is something to be said about bringing stuff that no one sees much. No one really plays against Frida, and it's one of those things when mid game you might kind of forget that she can deny a cav charge. Stuff like that is really important. It is actually important. I know on paper you might think she's not that great, but no one sees her, and sometimes just force out that mistake.
If she wasn't your leader, I'd agree, but because she's your leader, people will know.
Yeah, but she has to be my leader because she's got a spear and she's defense 6.
You could have Rasku as your leader, have him in the back of the map shooting.
He's
yeah,
already in combat,
but Vrasku's better on the front line.
Yeah.
Strength 5, fight 5.
Yeah, Vrasku's defense 5 and doesn't have
And there's
defense.
still 2s on fate. Yeah, I think in this list it does make sense for her.
Frida's got a shield, so she can shield and she's actually defense 6.
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
Um,
Okay, if we categorically just compare this to what Assault would be. So at 750, Assault would have slightly fewer models, perhaps. An extra ballista, a bomb, maybe. We'd only have the 2 warbands, so it could get 36 warriors like this because of the army bonus, the legion bonus. So you get the Isengard army bonus, which is all right.
In the legion, sorry.
No. You get them both, yeah.
I do, okay.
Yeah.
But then you also get in this 9 might compared to 4, plus the ballistas, which I'm not going to include because it's limited. Mm-hmm. You've got 3 specific heroes to do specific things. And you've got Crebain, which are everyone knows my thoughts on Crebain. And then you got a single Warg Rider. Is that worth a bomb? Like, you've got 5 more might.
The thing is, though, I think in Assault, as you would only have the 2 captains anyway, you'd only really need to use their might for moves. And I guess once, lines clash, whatever, do you have like more than 4 turns of combat? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But like, you don't really need to call heroic combats and strikes and stuff. Obviously, you don't have strike. But if you can get 42 models at 750 with Assault and you get an extra bomb and a ballista, I think that's better than 2 Crebain. I get that the
more
more
of the same, though, isn't it?
Also really good. No. The more might is also really useful because you can call combats and you can strike and you get the free defense and stuff. Like, there is definitely a lot of talks here. But if you can get a similar model count with an extra ballista and a bomb, that sounds pretty fucking good.
Your hero's dead before you get there, though. So who gives a shit if you have 4 might? They have lost at least 3 might off the table before they get to you. So it's like, who cares?
And the bomb blows up their leader.
Yeah, and then their bomb blows up another one. Oh, that's another thing.
Having looked at the lists this weekend, what do you think, Josh?
It's going to be an interesting one against all the Dragon Emperor lists.
How many is
the
there?
5 would mince you, but then if you can take out that Dragon Emperor there...
I feel a lot better against this list than Assault because Assault would have a bomb and an extra ballista.
Well, it depends on the scenario, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because if it's short supplies, like, you have to put guys back.
But I think in every scenario, a bomb is really going to worry me.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but...
How many are there, Josh, out of interest? They're more than me.
I would love for you to prove me wrong, Vince.
I missed that earlier.
Love you to.
That's right. Are there more emperors than me?
Oh, yeah. I think there are like 8 emperor lists of some kind. It's 750 though, isn't it? It's pretty much where the list excels, I think.
Everyone who has emperor but wasn't planning to use it has gone, let's use emperor for this event. And I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I think Emperor Legion was a top 5 list before the FAQ.
Assault, sorry, or Emperor?
Emperor,
right.
Well, both.
Yeah.
But it's just got even, like, relatively speaking, it's got slightly better. And
we have to do like a tier list video for like meta lists at the moment and rank tier list. We do need to do that, yeah. So any closing thoughts, Sam? You were saying something about...
I want Vince to prove me wrong. I want Vince to fucking go silly nervous with this because I would love it. But
nervous with the dog list.
I'm feeling pessimistic about it.
So just in conclusion, I think it's a bit different and
it's definitely different.
Read a tool spear.
And the mixed feedback I've gotten in a way is actually quite promising because it's so divisive and there might be some people just don't know what to do against it, there is a lot to be said about that.
If you had practice with this list, I'd be more on your side. But the fact you've had no practice,
I've played Isengard before.
Makes
it
I've played Isengard like plenty.
Vince
Yeah,
just,
but
yeah, it looks good on paper. So let's roll.
we'll see. We
That's
shall see.
Yeah, okay, so that's going to do it for Vincent's Isengard list. Now, moving on, we do have another similar sort of list. So we have Jay's Mordor-Isengard list. Now, we haven't had Jay.
Whoa!
This
Is
is crazy.
this like if
Wait,
Farmer and Vince had a child?
No, this is just Farmer.
So,
No, because he's got a ballista.
For the audio listeners, let me.
I'm sorry. Okay, wait. Before we start,
Go.
my instinct is this list is way worse than mine.
What's going on here?
On the table to start with. I like it. Okay, so for the audio listeners, yeah, so we reviewed one of Jay's lists previously, and we said we'll get Jay on the pod. He's a member of the team, but we haven't had him on yet. But he's going to the event, so we're reviewing his list anyway. So Mordor-Isengard Yellow Alliance. So he is taking the Witch King. That is 3-15-3 with the crown and horse.
Nice.
It is leading in the warband an Orc Warrior with shield, 4 Orc Warriors with spear, 1 Orc Warrior with banner and spear, 4 trackers, a Warg Rider, and 1 Morannon Orc with shield spear. Then from the Isengard contingent, he has Lurtz with a shield, 3 Uruk-hai with crossbow, 2 with shield, and 7 with pike, plus 1 Crebain. And then he has Verasku leading 6 Uruks with crossbow and another 6 with pike. And then he has the Uno Ballista for 43 models.
Wait. I'm not gonna lie. I do think Jay copied me a little bit because I messaged him about my list, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's really solid." Sorry, Jay, that's a really bad impression.
I just want to bring up the bane of my existence was
like
this format and Witch Kings, because it doesn't say Might Will Fate. So when I was checking every list, I had to email back and say, what Might Will Fate do they have?
That's those people have to put it in the email like I did. Oh well, no.
Yeah.
I didn't for this event, but at previous events, that's what I do. But
I think this is probably like 3-15-3, isn't it?
Yes, 3-15-3.
But look how he's copied me. He's got 1 Crebain, he's got a War Rider, he's got Vrasku, he's got crossbows, and he's got a ballista.
What's happened? What's happened to us? One FAQ, and we've fucking gone south.
So the secret to Jay's podium position at the moment in the GBHL is to copy Vince's list. That is the secret ingredient.
Well, he's never done it before, so
no.
This is crazy. Honestly, this is.
I
feel like he wrote this in the back of a napkin.
When I saw Mordor-Isengard, I totally thought it was going to be Farmer's list, because I know he's taken it at 750. I've played against it before with Witch King, Gorolf, Lurtz, and Shagrat. I really want to play that list at some point. So I was like, Jay's running it. Yes, I'll get to see how he does with it. But then I saw Verasku and a Ballista. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, what is Lurtz just there to make the alliance work?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vinny, what are your thoughts on
quite
Lurtz?
attacks?
I don't think he's that good. Like for Maelstrom, he's worth his points for Maelstrom. You don't always play Maelstrom, but for 90 points, I don't think he's good enough.
Would you put Lurtz in Hugh Edwards? Sorry, mate.
Maybe not quite that bad, but I just don't think
He's very useful though, isn't he? He's like the Guritz of the list, but he enables.
But yeah, he's useful, but only for Maelstrom. If you don't play Maelstrom, he's a bit.
No, because he's got Strike and March as well. He's
but so does like.
He's all that Lurtz has over Guritz. Heroic Strike.
Extra might. Extra wound, extra attack, extra
wound and attack, but a lower strength for 30 points.
No, same. They're both fight. No, extra fight value, strength 5.
Oh, sorry, Lurtz is strength 5.
Extra attack, extra wound.
Value. Okay. +1 fight, +1 attack, +1 wound.
No, he's much better than Guritz.
Lurtz is not bad, but I just think he's quite expensive.
Yeah, so 43 models. Yeah, a bit of an interesting one. I was like, when I saw they were all orcs, I was like, that's a lot of D4. Are they meant to be Morannons? Have I read that wrong? I don't know.
He's probably just gone cheap because he's teched in so many little bits here.
Yeah. The Uno.
He's trying to go max crossbow, isn't he? 3, 9.
16.
It's 11 crossbow shots plus. Where have you got 60? Oh no, the trackers, I guess. Have you counted
the ballista?
So yeah, 11 crossbow shots.
You've got 15 bows plus the ballista, so 16. Hence the star.
Yeah, but
he's got 9 crossbows.
Yeah.
Plus Lurtz, plus Varasku, and 4 trackers. That's 15. Plus a ballista.
Okay, it's because Vasco has 2 shots. I'm thinking, yeah. I just don't even know what to think about it, mate. Honestly,
yeah, I wonder if
like
he's so. I don't really know if Jay practices much. I haven't really spoken to him about that, but
was Jay running Lake Town Friends before?
Yeah,
I played him. Yeah, so could this just be sort of that as well?
Elliot.
Yes.
Jay plays even less than Vinny and I.
Yeah, Jay plays at events.
He probably never has time to play. So, but he plays at a lot of events. Like he's going to so many events.
He goes to a lot of events, yeah.
Yeah, but he won't have used this yet, I imagine. So
no, he would not have used this Frankenstein list. No.
Wait, the Witch King is a way better leader than Frida. Let's be real. However,
yeah, honestly,
no denying that. Yeah.
However, I don't really know what he does. I guess it's just magic. It's just
magic is really good.
It's like you don't have any terror.
He's been playing against magic so much that he's just like, I just want to fucking.
Magic is so OP. It is so OP. So
I mean, Witch King is just.
I'm just so like, what the fuck? What's happening here?
Baffled.
Do we think there's going to be a rise in shooting meta? First of all, because, well, as we know, most boards are reasonably open, and secondly, and second, no, I'm just saying people adapt to their surroundings, don't they? And then there's no AOL. Well, there will be AOL, but there'll be less AOL, right? And
Josh,
there's way less blinding light.
I think it's just the one.
Only
it's the
one.
Wiggins.
That is surprising.
It's Jamie.
I don't know.
I think the orcs have really put people off, though, haven't they? Like,
I don't know why.
I don't know what. Like, AOL hasn't been absolutely butchered.
No.
So I don't know why people are just instantly turning off it. They haven't even been to an event with it yet. Yeah.
Does this beat Emperor? No. Just don't think it does.
No. One ballista.
I don't want to think about this. I'm excited to see where Jay
plays. You get a lucky direct hit on the Emperor. I've never had my Emperor dismounted. Touch wood.
Yeah, it gets a ballista if it does hit, but I don't know. God knows. I'm excited to see how both Vince and Jay do with these.
That's why I put them back to back. Yeah.
These God knows what lists.
Isengard soup. That's something that's never been heard before.
It's just, mate. I don't know. God knows, honestly.
If anyone can pull it off, it's Jay. We have faith in Jay.
Yeah.
Gollum's game.
About.
No,
I have faith in Vince.
Yeah, go on.
I have faith in Vince to pull off as well.
What were you talking about?
I think Mordor-Isengard is quite an interesting combo. I think it can work because obviously the Witch King is so good.
Yeah, I do really want to use Farmer's List at some point. It's really good.
Would you rather go Saruman as the magic user, though?
No, Witch King is way better. Value-wise.
Okay.
I think that's the only reason to do the Mordor-Isengard alliance. To bring in the Witch King and possibly Shagrat as well. So Witch King, Shagrat, Gorlf, Lurtz, whatever.
Yeah, and Lurtz. I think he had like 30. This was at 750. He had like 30, maybe 7 models or something, but he did have like 9 trackers in there as well. So interesting list, but yeah. Right, but that's going to do it for Jay's Mordor-Isengard soup. Moving on, next we have the 2 Mordor Serpent Horde lists that are going now. Our regular viewers may be familiar with this sort of slide because there's usually quite a lot of Mordor Serpent Horde lists that we take. So Ashley, who is not here tonight, and Adam are both running a fairly similar list. Adam, would you like to take us through your list?
I mean, it's 3 semi-full warbands and then Suladan with some token cavalry, as that's what the meta's swung to. It's Witch King 315-3, Mouth of Sauron on armored horse, and Gorbag with shield. So the idea is take about 2/5 of the troops as Black Numenorians, 2/5 of the list as Morannons with shield and spear, and about 1/5 trackers. That's my view on it. Other people take more trackers, but I've seen them evaporate later on and I use them as screening units. But other people like to use them as like a big shooting block, like Ashley does. And that's pretty much the only difference in our lists. So I come on down to 42 models and Ashley's got 44. So I've got an extra cav and he's got an extra 2 models because he's taken 3 more trackers and removed a few shields from his Morannons. That's it.
Mordor Serpent Horde, SM50.
So what does the mouth bring?
Another Fight 5 charging model, which is really good against everything except the best list in the game, which is coming, which is a problem.
Brings another march as well for Divide and Conquer.
Yes, so, exactly. That's a good one.
Chances at a 3-up transfix as well.
Yeah.
I do like the mouth because I run the Blackgate Opens at 500 quite a lot. It's a really useful model.
I think the mouth is really good in a mirror match because causes terror. He's courage 5. He's got 4 will, so you can just charge into 2 black nuns and just take him out.
Yeah.
Witch King Sully out here planning to play Witch King Sully.
Yeah,
that's typical.
Well, in my travels, I've been frequenting Facebook Messenger and seeing all the banter, and I've seen a lot of the lists going around. It does look like a lot of people are copying Ashley and I. So,
oh yeah, you two are the founding fathers.
Yeah.
No, I totally had a mirror match.
The difference is obviously Ashley has far more success with it than I do because he gets more tournaments. But yeah, so I think Ashley will do really, really well. I think once again he's made a marginally better list than me.
Adam, you've got to back yourself. Come on, mate.
No, I'll do well, but I don't think I'll come high enough.
Ash likes his army bonus, so the 44.
Yeah, 44 is legit. Yeah, the army
as well as
again.
You've both structured your warbands a little bit differently. Like you've gone for the 4 trackers just in the mouse warband, which is very squishy compared to Ash's mouth warband because he's gone black nums in all 3.
So when is that squishiness going to come up?
I guess it just depends on how bad you roll in Melsham. I get this the only time, maybe.
Why don't I just roll with the mouth first?
Yeah, you can roll them out first and then spend might on everyone else.
Or he's got 2 might, so even
what's
with
the
2
bonus of having those models spread out through the other warbands, though?
Well, the idea is in 15 of the scenarios, you can just have that as your first drop and not give a shit. And then you got Suladan with another 4 as another drop, who are all cav, and both of those have march if you want to march away.
I guess you do still have, like, in Ash's list, for example, you have, like, a solo drop. Like, you've got Sully in the cav.
I've got 2 solo drops. So if I win that first roll, then it means I get to know at least 1 warband before I put my army down.
Yeah, I think it's just warband placings and stuff is just the difference. But, I mean, they're the same list. Let's be real.
It's essentially...
It's Black Gums, it's Witch King, it's Suladan. It's all very undercosted stuff, and they work really well together. I imagine we're going to speak to death more on these lists throughout the coming year because
I'm sure we will.
Because it's all everyone takes. And
really good.
So regarding FAQ changes and such, seeing as loads of people taking AOL and loads of people taking Sword Helm's Deep and they got nerfed, and then some noobs took Bjornings and then they got nerfed.
I can't believe they're nerfed.
I can't believe that got a nerf.
I'm still fuming.
Oh my god.
Do you think that changes the list significantly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can kill a bear now. You can't. You could before, but
it doesn't really change the list. It just makes it worse.
The bears weren't even that good before. Like,
I know.
Anyway, the point is, like, the main lists have been nerfed apart from this, which has been emergent. I mean, Ash and I and Farmer have been taking this all year, but lots of people are starting to take it, right? So if that continues to be popular, and Host of Dragon Emperor has dodged many a nerf, and I think it will get even more popular. So I mean, in January, following what we've just seen in the FAQs, I could see that this and Host of Dragon Emperor get a nerf.
I don't know what you'd nerf though.
Oh, you just make Suladan's banner only affect Serpent Horde as it
Do you think he's really there? I don't think they're going to go back to nerf Suladan.
They're not going to do it.
But that's not nerfing Suladan. That's nerfing this alliance because Suladan is perfectly fine. He is not broken. He's not.
Yeah, I've advocated for the Serpent Horde banner should only ban Serpent Horde for, but I would love it to happen. I don't think they will.
It's definitely going to happen.
I don't know. They've changed things before on profiles.
Depends how bad.
Like the shade.
Depends how bad things get. I don't know. I don't think it's at the point now where it's that bad. Like it's a good alliance.
Yeah, it's just a well-costed model, right? It's not oppressive.
There's too many well-costed things that it's like there is no weakness apart from, I guess, the Salt and Helm's Deep and you get shot off the board, but now that's less prevalent.
Well, I think this loses to Salt and Helm's Deep and Dragon Emperor. I mean, Dragon Emperor completely outfights it. Outfights and outmites.
No Kardish definitely is worse against the Dragon Emperor, but
this has more might than the Dragon Emperor.
Doesn't have Master of Battle.
Yeah. It's close. It's just really, really, really good. And there's not a lot that, apart from those two lists, I still think this can hold up to Dragon Emperor fairly okay.
It really can. Yeah.
So
it has a chance, and it has to play the scenario. But in a straight up fight, I think there's only one winner. Yeah, but yeah, it's got a really good chance.
Max is hopefully what would swing it this time around. Anyway, moving on for the Mordor Serpent Horde lists, we have Sam's Survivors and Iron Hills list. Sam, would you like to tell the audio listener is in your list?
So, with everyone, basically, I've played Ash too many times to count. With his list, probably over I reckon it's over 100 times in practice games. And he's always used the same list, and I've seen it forever. And everyone else now using Witch King Sutherland. It's just even more boring. So I'm not going to cave in. I'm not going to take an evil list, even though evil lists are way better than good lists. I am going to find a way to beat these lists. So I've basically taken
noble man, Sam.
Yeah, I refuse. So basically, Bard is my leader. He's got Alfred, Sigrid, and Tilda, and then I've got 1 Lake Town with shield, 5 with bow and spear, and then 9 Lake Town with shield and spear. A captain with shield. He's got 2 shield, Lake Town militia, 3 Lake Town with bow and spear, 3 Lake Town with shield spear, and then 1 just with spear. And then I've got Dane Ironfoot on his pig with 13 Iron Hills with shield spear, and then 1 Goat Rider. So the whole point of this is to have a fearless front line of fight 4, D7 or D8 that you're then needing 6s to kill with heroes if you charge in, and you're also needing 6s on all your battle line. I'm still needing 4 5s on the dwarf with being strength 4 against a black gnome. And I can also charge everywhere. It's also a case of it's still 2 fight 6 heroes. Bard can still his horse is most likely going to be gone, but he can still go into one, hurt combat, go into another, and try kill 2 models, 3 models a turn. And same with Dane. I mean, I've still got Master Battle because it's green allies, so it's like 8 might. 11 might, including Alfred, and then Master Battle. He's also, he's fearless. He is better than Bard because of the 2 wound boar. So you can't just black dart it once and be happy. You have to think about that, which is, I've had my mounts black darted too many times. So the value of the 2 wound one is going to be strong. And then it also gives me a cav option with just 1 Goat Rider, but it just gives me that little bit of, if I need it, kind of thing. And with the War Spear, it can do work. So yeah, I'll be intrigued to see your guys' opinions.
I love it.
It's I mean, and also I think it does well into Emperor.
Yeah, we were having this conversation.
Oh, I don't know.
Because you still have Bard who can kill. They don't really have a good way of dismounting heroes, unless you throw an acolyte dagger or a bow shot.
Unless Josh
What
ends up
Rogan?
ruling the FAQ in Emperor's
Yeah.
favor.
The Rogue FAQ. That'll be one that I'll be intrigued to see how it is
Big
ruled.
one for our matchup.
Yeah,
That wasn't you, was it?
I basically I said it ages ago, and then Elliot messaged me saying, what was the thing that you brought up?" And then he then sent it to you to see how it's going to be ruled.
Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't come up. It's really irritating.
Just for the listeners, what was the exact question about?
Go on, Sam, you explain it.
Essentially, there was the previous FAQ. They FAQ Tremor to say that who can resist Tremor, and it's basically anyone, the affected model that you're casting it on, and anyone under the line can resist it. Which, in the Tremor special, the Tremor magical power, it says about if you tremor a combat, it means everyone affected is tremored and they can resist whoever is affected. But with the FAQ, because it says only people under the line, that means that if you have a hero in a combat, but he isn't touched by the line, he is still affected, but he can't resist. So you're instantly dismounted. You take your strength 6 hit. Like you basically have to have like a 1-inch gap around all of your mounted heroes at all times, so that you can have one warrior charge your mounted hero and one warrior to then tremor the warrior to knock everything prone, and you can't avoid it.
And what I don't like about that, the FAQ bit, is there are actually like 2 questions in it in one.
Yeah.
There's the first line and there's the second line, which says basically, is it the first target or anyone along the line?
Yeah.
I don't understand why the FAQ ever needed to be there. I thought the rule in the rule book was very clear, and it's only just added confusion in my mind.
Because if it's ruled like the way that you can tag one dude into the hero and the warrior, tremor the warrior, and you're instantly not prone, then nothing you can do about it. That's instantly going to change the way I'm playing with both my heroes.
Yeah, the FAQ makes tremor a lot better. I don't think that was the intent of the FAQ, but it's potentially what it actually does.
Yeah.
The rule, the actual magical power says anyone affected in the combat can resist, but then the FAQ says very clearly who can resist, and then it kind of takes away from that part where it says anyone who's affected in the combat. So
yeah,
that's sort of the question.
And why have you only now just asked me? Why couldn't you have asked some other more experienced?
I've brought up to many people a long time ago when that FAQ first came out, and it was always, I don't know, and then that was it. It just went away.
Why didn't you tell me about this before the FAQ, and I would have submitted it along with my other Brawl Gear questions that were not answered? Jay Claire, I'm talking to you. You didn't answer my FAQ questions, and I'm upset.
Yeah, I think if it's if it's not that, they don't have a good way of answering for mounted heroes unless you shoot the mounts out. So Bard can comfortably kill 4 Easterlings.
I can tell you I want to rule that the combat can resist. That's what I want to do.
Thumbs up. I like that.
Thumbs down.
But that's not me saying anything yet.
Ask the other tiers if what they say.
Wait to hear the verdict. Now I would say to get the conversation actually rolling on this list, I would say we sort of talked about it in the chat, or I saw people talking about it in the chat, but I think you should have had Dane as the leader.
I don't.
I think Dane should have been the leader because you can have Dane he doesn't have to do loads of work for him to still affect the game. So he can sit there with the Master of Battle at D8 and the boar's harder to shoot out, so he isn't like as easy to sort of like, hone down. Where Bard, as you can give him the more might and he has the free heroic combat, you essentially want to chuck him in, where him being the leader, I think you were saying like you can still kind of be sort of safe with him, which you can. I think if in the list you can just set Bard loose with the free heroic combat with the potential 6 might, you don't want to be having him on a leash, I don't think. Like,
that's the problem. You can't set Bard free because he is your 12-inch banner. If you lose that, you lose the game. The banner is so important.
Yeah. Obviously, you don't want him to die, but
yeah, you can't have it. You cannot put him in a risky position in the slightest at any point, because if he does die, you lose, and then you're sharing. Oh, I want to kill Bard because he's the banner, but I also want to wound the leader. Or no, you're protecting your leader VPs with the banner, and then Dane. You can gladly put Dane in.
I guess you're maybe not maximizing the heroic combat.
But you can heroic combat, and as long as you're into 2 more warriors, that then a heroic move gets called, and they're not in a good position to get into Bard. Yeah, you're perfectly fine.
I think it's easy. Yeah, I guess I would think it's easier to keep Dane back. He can still affect the game with the Master of Battle. Bard, I guess, although his mount is easier to take out, he's more resistant to magic because they have the same amount of will, but he's got more might to affect those resistance.
Yeah. And
Bard being D8 as well. I just if it were me, I don't think there's that much in it, but I do get what you mean, where if you just chuck Bard in like a nutter and he dies, then you do lose because of the banner, not only because of the VPs. But
it's like I'd rather have Dane as an assassin than Bard. In Contest of Champions, Bard's actually a better person to have as your leader because the free combats.
Yeah.
It's just I am like, a fog of war. You need to keep a hero alive. I can keep Dane alive fairly comfortably.
Yeah.
I think I've always had Bard as the leader just because he is the main center point of everything. If he dies, you lose. So I'd rather play more protective with him and know that and keep myself in the game than die with Bard and lose your banner and your leader VPs.
I guess you've always had to do that in Survivors anyway. Could you have made, out of interest, when you took Thorin, could you have made Thorin the leader?
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's just I'd just rather have that D8 person as an assassin or someone to keep alive.
Do you worry about the speed of the list? Because obviously you've got the dwarves in the front and then the spears behind, which kind of makes your whole army like move 5, right? So does that concern you that your movement is kind of down to dwarf level?
Not particularly. It's if technically it has 8 points of march, because the captain has 2, Dane has 3, and Alfred has 3 might. So I play Divide and Conquer. You can march both corners. You can spend 1-2 points of march to get out of the board if you really need to, and if it means that I've lost priority and they get to charge my dwarfs because they've stood 5.5 inches out, I don't really care because they're charging dwarfs. They're charging D7 models that are going to be in a nice wall anyway. So I'm not too bothered. When it comes to recon, again, like I said, I've got loads of march, which I just would spend to go up the board as fast as possible. And any mission that's kind of like 24-inch deployment, like if it's a Dom, a capture control, that kind of vibe, you're deploying on the 24, they need to deploy on the 24 as well. Otherwise, you're taking space that you really shouldn't have. And the lists that...
Sorry, just to be clear, what Dom? Domination?
Yeah, domination. What do you mean, Adam, huh?
Oh dear.
That's clarifying.
Yeah. Adam needs certain clarifications. Anyway.
I know you got 2 fight 6 heroes. That's all.
Yeah, I just think it is the best thing I can use currently. That goes into Black Numbs. It's the best thing. It does well into Emperor because even if you kill eight Eastlings a turn with your first turn with the 2 heroes, and then they still need 6s to kill your dwarfs. You need 5s on them. It's just it does better.
Yeah,
do you know who is good against Bard?
Crossbows.
Breeder Tall Spear.
Oh,
Readers, Sam.
Breeder do be nothing.
I do wonder if I think when we spoke about this in the car, I mentioned about this. I just you make a very convincing argument as to why the movement isn't that big an issue. It makes sense. It sounds good.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's reasons that in practicality it, doesn't work for whatever reason. I don't know what that is. But I assume if there were alliances out there that combined all the strengths that dwarves bring, but you take on the lack of movement and you can combine that with X other thing, be it elves or Lake Town in this instance, you might see it a bit more. And I wonder if, those reasons that we don't know that it could be negative are why we don't see it. I don't know.
I get why you thought the dwarves because of the Fearless, and Dane is super good. But I think actually, if you compare like elves, like Thranduil's elves to Einhill's dwarves, the elves are just, I think, way better for their points.
So I did have this list, but with Legolas and Shield Elves.
Yeah.
It was 13 Shield Elves. You get a 1 cab and a banner.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get more models in the Lake Town Captain's Warband. So I think you get to 46.
With what, sorry?
With Legolas
instead of
Captain.
Oh, sorry, instead of Dane. Sorry.
Yeah, instead of Dane.
Yeah, and you get a 5 line instead. Right?
Yes.
Elven Blade.
Then you still lose to...
You can put the elves in front, but they're Courage 4.
Yeah, I think you still lose to the Emperor at that point.
What about Thranduil with guys?
What with Lake Town?
I think he's too many points.
Thranduil on horse to make him hitty.
Yeah, well, if you get 46 with Leggy, yeah, you would be going to like low 40s with Thranduil.
Yeah, I think I have tried writing the list like that, but Bard and Thranduil is a bit expensive.
That's kind of what I just, to the point I was saying with like the dwarves and using them with other, forces. I just like things like the Battle of 5 Armies, for example. I feel that if that was really good, that you would just see it more. Like, I'm not saying that it isn't good or that a list like this isn't good. I don't know. I've never played against a dwarf alliance with something else, I don't think. So we
haven't had enough high points events yet.
Yeah, this is the first actual higher point event this year, isn't it? Since Preston or something?
Yes.
But as in, there have been plenty of, events that have happened, and I guess people may have tried.
Yeah, but the meta's changed so much since last year's GBU or last year's finale or whatever. What I will say is, I think actually Sam might be onto something, because the way the meta wheel is shifting, we are probably going to see more shooting now than ever. I mean, we've seen that with the few lists we've seen tonight, with both Jay and Vinny. More shooting, more Dragon Emperor, more Mordor Serpent Horde, probably. So having Fearless, having a defense 8 wall at the front, except for the 2 lads on the ends, against shooting. I think you could be onto something, but I think it's a bit early to say.
Yeah, I think on paper, it sounds really good. It's just whether there are certain things about allying dwarves with X other faction, if there's something about it that just doesn't work, which is why you don't see it that much. And
it hasn't needed to work yet. It's only now we're seeing like this much terror and this much stuff that's susceptible to like this much shooting and terror as well.
Yeah, obviously all of those bonuses are obviously really, really, valid and with the shape of the meta of the moment make, perfect sense. It's just whether you combining the 5-inch move with the 6-inch move, is there inherently just something about that doesn't work? I don't know. Maybe you'll play the list and you'll win the event and we'll be like, oh, it doesn't really matter. Or maybe be like, in this scenario, it really hurt me and whatever. But it's only might not.
If I only had one March, I'd agree.
Yeah.
If Dane didn't have March, I'd be, yeah, that makes sense. But the fact he does,
yeah, Dane having March is very.
I think it's not as bad. No. Like I think you can negate majority of what the problems would cause.
If those issues aren't a thing, then I don't really see many holes in it at all. So I guess we'll see how that actually plays out in practice. Because on paper it ticks kind of all of the boxes that you would want something to play against meta lists to do at the moment.
Yeah, I have no clue how I'm going to do. I have literally no fucking Scooby.
I will be interested.
I could go 2 and 4. I could go 3 and 3. I could go 4 and 2. I could go 5 and 1. I generally don't know.
Left out 0 and 6, Sam.
I won't go 0 and 6. There's no way.
We'll be starting 0 and 1 after we play at my house on Friday night before the event.
Yeah, that'd be a good practice. See if I can beat Emperor, which I think I can.
Nah. Right. Anyway, so that is going to do it for Sam's list and for everyone's lists, because that is everyone. So we are going to move on to the classic tier list, which is titled Pompey, but I'm using the same one from last time. So I have labelled the bottom Master.
I love Adam's picture. Like, what the hell is
that? The Masters kind of had a bit of a tough week, I would say. He was flying high at the top.
He is no longer the Master.
He was on lemon, he was riding, and then he fell off a fucking cliff, and now he finds himself in the Hugh Edwards tier, which is now the Master of Lake Town tier.
Master of Lake Town tier, love it.
So, anyway, to get underway, and James is there, even though James isn't here, so we'll put him to the end. Right, should we start with the Mordor Serpent Horde lists? Where are they?
Lemon.
Vince?
Yeah, I mean, why is it lemon now? We used to put it top of Silly Nervous, right?
I guess it's still the argument for, is the Shadow Lord better?
No.
I was speaking to Farmer about this, and at 750, he doesn't like Witch King Suladan. Not say he doesn't like it. Sorry, Witch King Suladan Shadow Lord. Not that he doesn't like it. He just thinks it's better at 700. But he thought it was a bit awkward at 750.
Yeah, I think you have to take more
Harad,
and that's never a good thing. So
at 700, you get 2 full warbands with Witch King Shadow plus Suladan and Cav.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's whether they are. I think we have had them in lemon in other tier lists.
No, they're always top of Silly Nervous. I think it's a top of Silly Nervous.
They're at the bottom of lemon or top of Silly Nervous.
We're going to put 1 in lemon and 1 in Silly Nervous. Whose is better?
Yeah, Ashes is better.
I think Ashes is slightly better, but
Ashes.
But honestly, the distinction is not enough to separate lemon and Silly Nervous. Come on.
They're both
doing this.
They're both lists that can win the event.
Nervous.
Are we doing this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, what is Goebel's list?
He's not there. He's not going.
He's not going. His little face will be left down there on his own.
So he'll be the Master of Lake Town.
I can't remove them from the presentation, annoyingly. Really stupid.
No, keep them in, it's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, next we have Jay's Mordor-Isengard Yellow Alliance.
I literally don't
Jay.
know where to start with the Jay's and Vince's. So
I think
let's do Vince's after. Yeah. So Jay's.
I want to hear Vinny's opinion on this.
Jay, your army's dog, mate.
Yes.
It's so bad.
Does
It's
not.
so bad. I'm sorry, Jay. It's terrible.
Vince is putting Jay in dog.
So he looked at
Jay's
your
not going to be
list.
happy.
So according to Vinny, he looked at Vinny's list, which we know he did that. What was his feedback to you, Vinny?
No, he said it was. He said it was really solid.
I could totally call Jay right now and get him on the pod.
Because he mentioned on the group that he thought your list was good, but a glass cannon, something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. But overall, it was positive feedback.
Oh, I think
He
they're
thought it
both
could work.
nervous.
Yeah.
I think they're both nervous.
So what he's done is he's looked at your list, he's copied it, and
tried to make
he's made it worse.
He's made it worse.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, he's put a Witch King in, but then he's got.
I don't know
loads
if
of
he's
orcs in
made it
there.
worse though.
He's got loads of orcs, which are kind of bad.
I
and
really
then
don't
got,
like that he's
only...
got loads of fight 3 D4.
Yeah, he's got loads of orcs which don't
really.
really fit, and then he's got a ballista randomly in there.
He's got the Witch King,
And
the
then-
best model in the game. It's pretty good.
I don't know. It's just it looks like it's been written by someone who's kind of unfortunately new
But
to
it
the
hasn't.
game.
It's been written by Jay, who is
Yeah, I know, but
owning
just,
the league. So is it secretly OP?
this is no slight on Jay as a player. We're just looking at the list, and the list is dog.
Oh, tough comments.
The thing is though, if it's like, if you just gave me both of them, yeah, you said list, which one would you rather use?
Jesus, I don't even know.
I think I would rather take Jay's than yours.
No way.
I might agree.
No way. I know you're saying that. I know.
I
you're
think
saying
I would
that.
rather take Jay's.
I know you're
So
saying that to
basically,
tease
yeah,
me,
the
but-
difference between your two lists. So you have an extra ballista. If it was an extra ballista like the ones from Assault, then that's really good. But it's only an extra. It's like the normal one from Isengard, and then he's got a Witch King. Like you've both got the Crebain and the Wild Riders. Like
It's like
I've got
ballista.
two Crebain. I've got two Crebain.
okay,
It's only one more though. Here's a Witch King that can stop.
and he's got a Witch King.
Oh wow! So he's spending what 160 points to stop a Crebain. Brilliant.
No, but it's to stop
Oh, no,
anything
no,
else.
he's not. Yeah, and like you've got Gorelf, who is really good. Like he's got Lurtz. Yes, Lurtz doesn't have the free defense and stuff, but like if you're looking, you know, Gorelf is ultimately going to do a lot of killing, hopefully, in your games, and Jay will try and make Lurtz do the same thing. So they sort of fill the same role there.
Yeah, but we got similar numbers, and he's got loads of orcs.
But he's got a Witch King.
The Orcs is a downside,
15.
but he has a fucking Witch
He's got
King.
15
so
wheel
good.
Witch King.
They
Yeah.
have a cave troll.
Yeah, I do side with Sam on that one, annoyingly, but I do.
What do you mean annoyingly?
I hate siding with you.
It's just like, yeah, would I rather have a 15 wheel Witch King or
An
you
extra
trade that
ballista.
you trade that for let's say I don't know, it was like 8 orcs or 7 orcs, whatever, plus a ballista and a
And
Crebain.
But the thing is, at least my army's cohesive. Like it's
yeah, that is the thing about Jay's. It doesn't like on paper, it does look like a mess.
Yeah, but all yellow allies do.
Yeah, but I just it doesn't. Vince's looks more sensible.
I just
But,
think when you come like
My
you
army
have
is
a
just-
picture in.
my army's just a vanilla Isengard list with 2 ballistas. Like we're overthinking this here. It's nothing actually.
You know, Isengard isn't
It's nothing
actually.
actually that crazy. It's just we haven't seen it before, and you're used to Assault and comparing the two.
No, but comparing both of yours, like you have yours is so heavy shooting, and if you don't do well with shooting, you're probably having a bad time.
No, because my line is actually stronger than his.
Yeah, but like you both shoot, or say if not even on a one-on-one head to head, like Jay has the chance to actually not shoot, but you know, compel a hero out and then actually kill it and he just has more tools.
Witch King is nutty.
Yeah,
He
Witch
has
King's
more
good.
tools.
Witch King's
Witch
really
King's good, but he's got loads of orcs and only 1
The
ballista.
Orcs is the
which-
downside. But I would probably trust in Jay to make a Witch King the value he'll get out of the Witch King to be worth more than what he loses from
Oh, for sure.
having Orcs, I'd probably say. Yeah. But where
In a 24-inch deployment version, I'd guarantee Jay's is way better.
So me and Sam both want Jay above Vince. Adam, where would you like Vince, above or below Jay?
Vinny's line's better. Vinny outshoots. It's just the magic and protecting a leader wound, really, isn't it? So,
I guess Vince doesn't really get to vote though because it's his list.
Nah.
I would put Vinny slightly above.
Right, roll a dice, Elliot.
Should I roll one? I have plenty dice here.
1, 2, 3. Jay has the Witch King, so he's evil. Jay has the Witch King, he's evil. Vinny's good.
Right, we're going back in.
Oh, crotch shot.
Here we go. Right.
No, it's fine. I actually want my list to be the worst list of the day,
right,
of the night.
Here we go.
What's going on then? It's a 3. This goes to Jay.
It goes to Jay. Heard it here first. Right.
They're both so odd. They're both just so
odd. Sorry, were they going in dog or nervous?
No, I think they're in nervous. I literally don't know what they I don't know what they do. I don't know how they work.
Jay's list though, I would say Jay's probably has the biggest potential of being dog.
That makes no sense. No, it's above mine, but it's got the most potential.
No, I think Vince has a bigger chance of being dog.
I think Vince's list is quite, as I said, it's more sensible. I think it's just more consistent. Like the orcs for Jay, what I'm saying, they could just really crumble more than he thought, and he does.
They're spear supports, like
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but
there's spear supports that in a separate warband. It sometimes just doesn't work.
Yeah,
I just Vince's does have. Like it is classic Isengard. Like it, at least you look at it on paper. Oh yeah, that makes sense. But Jay has basically just dropped in a Witch King, and he's hoping it's going to go really well. I think the ceiling of Jay using the Witch King is high, but he could also just get absolutely raped because the orcs just die.
They're both really hella odd.
They are. We are really splitting hairs. So
they're hella odd. They're
weird. The dice
just leave it like that.
Jay's was higher.
Don't forget, he doesn't get his army bonus either. He's
That's
yellow.
right. He gets a Witch King.
True. I doesn't get the Mordor one.
Yeah, so if he breaks, the orcs just.
He's got a hero legend Witch King. Who cares?
Yeah, but
they'll be dead by then anyway. D4.
They'll have been shot by Vinny's second ballista.
Yeah. Right. Moving on. We have my Dragon Emperor list. Where is it going?
Lemon.
Yeah. See, I have a problem because
it has to be lemon. I think it's very, very, very
I just do think that Adam and Ashes is better though.
I don't.
I'm gonna get outvoted here, but if Elliot's is in lemon, yours and Ashes are in lemon. That's just how it is. In my opinion.
I think they are very, very close. I think Mordor Serpent Horde does a lot better against Emperor than we might think.
I'm
having played it a number of times.
Yeah, it does do. It's like 50-50.
It does do pretty well.
But that's only because the Dragon Legion is strength 3.
Yeah.
Yours is strength 4.
But it's got less models.
What? 43 as opposed to 44?
Yeah, but the trackers will probably kill 1 or 2.
So are we even counting the trackers in this? Because they'll just evaporate.
I think that's the thing. We're looking at it from playing against each other, but like against other lists.
Well, it's very likely, seeing as there's, I think, what?
Yeah.
There's actually 8 Emperor lists. Now, he might have been over-exaggerating. Maybe there's 6.
8 is a fifth of all the...
That's a lot more.
That's over a fifth. There's 36 people going.
Yeah.
No, there's 50. There's nearly 50.
Yeah, there's 50.
So
let's say there's like 6 Emperor lists. That's more... I think at maybe Dewey's there was 5, or another event that we did a preview for, there was 4, not 5. So 6 is a lot more than we've seen. And the FAQ would definitely have something to do with that. But yeah, Witch King Sully does do better into it than I think a lot of people think.
Admittedly, there's no Cardiff, so Cardiff is very good against Emperor, but it's still if Emperor's in lemon, I personally would rather see Ash and Adam is in lemon, but if I'm going to get outvoted, so I'm putting in lemon and leave the other two in silly nervous. I guess.
I don't think the gap is that much. If anything, I think the gap is that.
Like, what is lemon? Like nowadays,
all up
what is
there.
lemon?
So like, but yeah, I don't think Emperor is lemon, and they are clearly in silly nervous. Like, I think the gap is quite close, or it's a small gap.
Yeah. I mean, eight people have taken it at 750. 750 is its best level. So
Emperor's also pretty damn good at 750.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Witch King's Hully is pretty good at 750.
Yeah.
So
I think that's going to be the unanimous decision. So
yeah, see about that. It doesn't matter. It's very close.
So
yeah.
But I would personally put it there. Benny. Right, Sam's Iron Hills survivors list.
I don't think we've seen enough data, so I think I would have to go at the bottom of silly nervous.
I think it's a nervous list.
I would. There's also not much data on Witch King, Lurtz, Ballista, or Frida, Gorolf Ballista. So, but I would probably say this has a bit more legs than like it's whether it's there or here. But
like I know what you're saying. It's got lots of march, but I don't think march is a substitute for raw movement. It's just not the same.
Yeah, it's also when that line's.
It's so restrictive. You can't charge. It costs might. It's just not the same.
Yeah, like I think it's in silly nervous, but I don't think it should be up there with Witch King Sully. I think it should be like here, with like AOL in there, like other stuff. But it's a solid list, and you could do really well with it. And then we're like, oh, it should be up there. But I think
need to be putting it in top of nervous.
I think it's probably around there.
I'm just taking it because see what happens. To be honest, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like,
I think in theory, it should be quite good. Against the stuff that is what people think are good. I think it has good matchups into, and it gives them a run for their money. But I mean, I've never used it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I just like in actual practice, it might not work, but the idea of it on paper, and that's all we have to go off. I think it's above a nervous list. I'd say it's like mid.
Yeah.
Like I played one game with it, and it was at 800 points. But I had just 2 extra models. It was basically I had a banner dwarf and another dwarf. That's it. Against James's Thranduil's Halls, which I thought was actually probably one of the biggest counters for it, because the fight 6 and the +1 to wound, they just kill dwarfs for fun.
Yeah,
and Drew, which I was happy about. I'll take the draw because of how bad the fight 7 captain and all the players guard going nervous. I was like, what's going on here then? But
so I'm gonna account for 50% of your practice before this event.
Huh?
I'm going to account for 50% of your practice.
Yeah. But that was 800. I mean, I only had 2 models, so it's basically the same thing. But I drew that game, and then hopefully I'll beat you. So I would personally put it top of nervous, just because I have no clue. I could go 2 and 4. I could go 3 and 3. I could go 4 and 2. I could go 5 and 1.
I think Adam and I are commenting on the potential upside when we want to put it in scene.
I guess, yeah.
We want to put it in scene others, right, Adam?
Yeah, I think it is good against Dragon Emperor. So, yeah. And you're going to play at least one this weekend?
You probably are.
Yeah. I'd put it there, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine there, but I would probably have it down there. But, like, yeah, it looks like that's where we're going to end up. And James is in Master of Lake Town because fuck James. Not here.
I know Ash really, really likes it. Ash keeps messaging me and raving about it. And saying that you got this actually. I keep thinking about it. It's blah, 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 blah.
That's because if you two play and you win, he needs that.
No, but he never really does.
Ash is always super positive when it comes to reviews.
He never does that. So it's not like
Ash be positive if he lost.
No. There was a list where he really wasn't. What was it?
Oh yeah, there totally was one where what was it that he was dogging on? Who's taken odd lists?
James.
Maybe it was maybe it was James's trebuchet list.
God knows.
That he podiumed with.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
on there. But...
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so that is going to do it. We may potentially do a review episode for the event. We haven't done one of those in a little while, depending on how we all get on. But we will have to see. The event is this weekend. 6 games, 750. Really looking forward to it. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching another episode of the Gollum's Gamers podcast.